What's happening, guys? It's Jeff, and I'm back with another 2015 NHL playoff prediction. I'll be doing the Western Conference. As you can see, the Eastern Conference first round is not done, but the Western Conference is, so why not do this video now? Capitals and Islanders, they're going to decide tonight. Game 6 of Detroit and Tampa is tonight. I think Game 7's on Wednesday, so I'll have my Eastern Conference prediction a little bit after Wednesday. I'll post it as soon as possible. But let's get to the Western Conference. First Western Conference second round, we got the number 1 Anaheim Ducks hosting the Calgary Flames. Anaheim is favorite. The Ducks lead the series meeting 3 out of the 5 times in the regular season against the Flames. The Flames won 2 out of 5 against Anaheim. I had Anaheim winning, but I was 1 game short. I really thought the Jets was going to pull 1 game victory, but it was ended up being a 4-game sweep. Calgary, I had the wrong team, but I had the number of games right. I had Vancouver in 6, but it went other way. Calgary beat Vancouver in 6 games. These two teams, they played pretty well. The Jets did not have anything against the Ducks. I don't know why I chose them to win the game. I actually thought that game they was going to win in overtime, but I was hoping overtime, but the Jets didn't have nothing. Anaheim is just too strong of a team for them. But, yeah. Calgary, I was surprised Calgary won this game. The Flames won this series. Usually Vancouver is pretty powerful in the playoffs, but, Flames were the better team. The Flames played pretty good hockey in this series, so I actually think Anaheim's the better team here. That's how I'm going. I'm officially picking the Ducks to move on to the Western Conference Finals in 6 games. I think the Ducks wins games 1 and 2 at home. I think they split game 3 and 4 in Calgary. Game 5 is in Anaheim. I think the Flames survive and take Game 5. Game 6 in Calgary. I think Anaheim takes Game 6 against the Flames to beat the Flames in 6 games to move on to Western Conference Finals. So in the next, we got the number 3 seeded Chicago Blackhawks hosting to the wildcard spot, the Minnesota Wild. Chicago has the edge here. The meeting's also 3 and 2. Chicago winning 3 of the 5 meetings against Minnesota, and Minnesota won 2 of the 5 times against Chicago. Chicago was just absolute terrific in this series. One of the heroes, best player probably on their team, Jonathan Toews and Marian Hossa. Minnesota, I'm surprised Minnesota actually won the series. I had to pick of the St. Louis Blues in 6 games. I had the correct pick, but I didn't see Minnesota beating St. Louis. I didn't see it coming, so Minnesota would just play too good for them. No respect toward the Blues for their hard work. They're a great team, but Minnesota moved on. I had correct. I had Chicago moving on, and I was 1 game short. I really thought this was going to be a 7-game series, but Chicago just survived. So, who I'm thinking is going to win, before I tell you who I think I'm going to win, I'm actually going to ask you this question. I want you to answer this question. Comment below. I don't really get any comments on this video, but just in case you watch this video, this is my question. So, starting as a goalie against the Predators in Game 6, they started Scott Darling, Chicago Blackhawks. Darling was doing well until, the Predators scored twice, and then Chicago scored, and the Predators were up 3-1. So, Darling was a starting goalie, and Chicago brings in the kid, Corey Crawford. And the Chicago Blackhawks just went beast mode on the Predators. The Predators just lost gas. They gave up. They gave up 2 goals in the first period. 1 with only a few seconds left. 3-3 at the end of the first period. Second period, no one scored. It was high tension hockey though. By far, this pretty much was my favorite series. The Nashville Predators and Chicago Blackhawks. Third period in Game 6. it was tensional, but Chicago scored a goal and ended up winning. My question is, who do you think should be a starter? Should it be Scott Darling again or Corey Crawford? In my opinion, I think it should be Corey Crawford because I don't think they're going to do well with Scott Darling. He gave up, like, I don't know, 3 goals in the first period, and then once Corey Crawford just started, they were just back on track. The Blackhawks just dominated. Nashville pretty much just gave the series to Chicago. So my prediction, I officially think Chicago is gonna beat the Wild in 6 games. I think they split the first 2 games, and I think Chicago wins games 5 and 6. So that's how I'm doing it. I got Chicago winning in 6 games. By far, a lot of my theories I chose to be playing 5, 6 games, but most of them pretty much came wrong. No, I had I had Vancouver in 6 games. Was right about the 6 games. I was right about the 6 games in the Blues and the Minnesota series, and I was pretty much wrong about 6 games in the Nashville series. And I had a couple 6-game series wrong in the Eastern. I'll get to that when I do the Eastern Conference. So that's the video. I have the Anaheim Ducks moving on to beat the Calgary Flames in 6 games, and Chicago beating Minnesota in 6 games. So there you have it. You have the Western Conference Finals. I think it's going to be Anaheim and Chicago. That, my guys, is going to be a really, really tense, probably really hard-hitting series. 2 of probably the best teams, Chicago and Anaheim. That's going to be a real good series. Hopefully that happens. I would like to see that series. So that's my prediction. I think Anaheim and Chicago is going to move on to the Western Conference Finals to fight for a spot in the Stanley Cup Finals. So that's the video. I'll be back soon for the Eastern once finished. So I'm Jeff, and see you guys later.